Welcome back to the Yanadameen Godcast. I'm Lord Jamar.
Dagger, where art thou? Digger.
That's Fact Checker Rage right there. Rod Digger is still on hiatus right now. She's over in Europe doing her 1-2 thing, getting that European bread, those euros. You know what I'm talking about? Speaking of euros, speaking of bread, listen, if you'd like to donate to the show, and first of all, last week, I gave the shout out to the people and a call to action. And this is a call to action still. We have about 63,000 subscribers. If everyone just gave $1, oh my goodness, we would be so straight. We would be doing for self and don't have to ask nobody for nothing. Even if every viewer, let's just say, we average about maybe 20,000 views an episode. Hey, every viewer, just give $1. What's $1? It ain't gonna hurt you. Go to cash.me/$Yanadameen, patreon.com/Yanadameen, or Yanadameen.com/support and give your $1, $5, $10. I mean, sky's the limit. But I'm just saying, if we all collectively, $1, like I said, last joint, even a drip makes a puddle, and we're gonna make an ocean. So let's do it, y'all. Thank you. We really appreciate y'all. So, Rage.
Yes, sir.
A lot went on in the media, in the news.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that people are talking about right now is the HBO documentary that dropped, Leaving Neverland.
Back to that story, yeah.
Leaving Neverland. It's hard for me to even say. I'm getting tongue-tied just thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Did you watch it, Rach?
Certainly did not. I don't intend to.
Really?
Nah.
Okay, well, why is that?
I'm just pooped out in that whole story, that whole narrative, and not just to say I'm a Michael Jackson fan, but I owe it to any person's legacy to try to remain as impartial as possible. And I see the fixing on this topic, and I'm not really comfortable. So I'm just not going to patronize the franchise at all. That's my personal decision.
Right. Well, I watched it.
Okay.
I watched it. Now, there's 2 parts to it. I only saw part 1. It was disturbing to say the least. You know, the things being said about Michael in this documentary, that these grown men now, but they were little boys at the time that they said all of this were happening. They were around 7 years old. You know, it was disturbing on many levels. Like it was, you know, very graphic in the description of, you know, the type of shit that was going. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. Is this almost, see, now this makes me ask other questions.
Yeah, exactly. I know where you're going.
Almost, do they put things out there to force you to imagine in your mind what could have been going on?
100%.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's where they fuck with your mind right there.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't want to even think about this type of shit. But now you're trying to force me, you're graphically describing pedophilia. I don't want to have those images in my mind.
At all.
And descriptions of it paints images in people's minds. And I think that is the danger of watching some of this shit.
Isn't it safe to assume if a person is inclined to pedophilia that they would gain some excitement from seeing that?
Right. That's another thing.
Yeah. It's almost like a halfway of like doing porn.
Or hearing about the acts that went on.
Right. What social good is that serving?
I mean, my thing is there's so many documentaries right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it seems like the documentaries are put out to try to give people an official narrative of whatever topic they want to talk about. Here's the thing, Mike. You know, I grew up being a fan of Michael Jackson. Like, Michael was an inspiration. I don't know what that clicking sound was. Michael was an inspiration, like, to young black children. Like, just seeing a young child to be like he was the leader of the group. His brothers were older than him, but he was young and was the leader. Something about that was inspirational to a little kid. You know what I mean? And the fact that he could sing and dance, and he just coming up, the Jacksons, they had a cartoon. Like, that was great for black people's self-esteem. Like, his afro was on fleek. Like, everything was like, Michael Jackson was the shit. Then when he came with Off the Wall, his style got a little, you know, you saw he was a little softer, but that Off the Wall album was the shit when I was coming up. I had to be like, I don't know, 12, 13 or some shit, 11 around maybe when that came out. And that was the shit. So I say all this to say, but Mike, you was doing crazy shit. Like, fucking with little kids. Now, I'm not even saying on a sexual level, because he didn't have to be. We don't know. We weren't there. But we do know that he liked to chill with little kids and befriend children and shit. And little kids would sleep over his crib and that are not his, and be in the room and the bed. And it's when you put yourself in those type of situations, I'm sorry, like you only you create that opening for people's minds to wander.
On the topic of create, I think it's important to point out the distinction that these were little white children.
Yes.
Okay.
Because now, hold up. Did you see there was some interviews that Vlad was having with some gangster dude that used to be around the Jacksons? He said he used to have his kids over at Michael's all the time, and
Nathan Franks.
Nothing happened to his kids.
Right.
He got pictures of his kids running around Michael Jackson in their underwear.
Right.
In the crib.
Right.
And he said ain't shit happened, but he was a fucking gangster and he would have fucking killed Michael. So a lot of times it could be the science of, you know who to do this to, and you know who not to do this to.
100%.
You know what I mean?
The point I was leading to in terms of the white kids is, keep in mind, like, none of us are raised in a vacuum. Michael Jackson was raised within the context of white America. So the things that he saw, the things he valued, the things that he saw as opulent or anything that had a desire to be attained was white.
Right.
So you got to remember, he's raised off Dennis the Menace, everything that represents childhood, everything that represents purity is the white child. So instinctively, if he's still a child and he wants to grasp that American dream that he's being brought in, he would want to hang out with white kids. You see what I'm saying? Then we got to discuss what happened to his face. You see what I'm saying? So there's some racial nuance in there.
Because they say it's vitiligo, and I say that's a vitili.
Come on.
And it needs to go.
Right.
Like, it's bullshit.
That's going in post. That's going in post. But no, so that's what I'm looking at. So that being said, what I'm looking at with the whole Michael Jackson, like, circus, quote unquote, they love him and appreciate him as a cute boy, but they definitely had a problem with him as a businessman.
Yes, I can see that, but also a man who seemed to be, people don't like to use this word, but I'm going to use it, retarded in his growth, as far as, people feel like, he really might have had a Peter Pan syndrome. He might have really wanted that perpetual childhood. He didn't have a childhood when he was young. He's always working. So now he's old enough to try to buy a childhood for himself as an adult. And I'm going to hang around kids and we're going to have roller coasters and fucking monkeys and giraffes and all this kind of shit. And you know, we're going to have sleepovers and pillow fights and shit like that. And to him, he's thinking, oh, you know, if he's innocent of this. And I'm going to bring up a story also about my man, somebody that I know, okay, that actually was bodyguarding for Michael Jackson, okay? And I know this person personally. And after this whole thing came out, because everybody, once they saw this, said, oh, it looks bad for Mike. I was even kind of like, it looks bad. I mean, these stories sound bad. But my man's like, yo, he's full of shit. These stories are full of shit. I was around Mike. Mm-hmm. There's no way he could have been doing this without me knowing. And if I would have saw this, I would have whooped his ass myself. This is what my man is saying. Now, this dude used to bodyguard for me back in the day. Right. You understand? For Brand Nubian. That's compelling to me. Yeah. Because I really know this guy. I don't know these motherfuckers that made this documentary. I don't know what their motives are or you see what I'm saying? Like, they don't have any journalistic integrity as far as, you know, to not inject any personal opinion or anything like that into whatever they're presenting to us. So I don't know.
What I would like to listen. What shakes me is this. Again, from his evolution from a childhood star to an astute businessman, he was around the likes of Tommy Mottola, Quincy Jones, and somewhere along the line, business savvy rubbed off on Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, when he started buying the Beatles masters and shit
all
like that.
Stuff, buying catalogs.
Getting Paul McCartney pissed off at him.
Crazy, you know. So when he started buying those catalogs and those publishing rights, it was interesting. There's a story that apparently, if I'm not mistaken, Little Richard's catalog came with the Beatles catalog. And I was told that Michael Jackson simply returned Little Richard's catalog back to him. And if everybody want to follow the context, in the mid-'80s, Little Richard was doing a whole talk show circuit, screaming at the top of his lungs, I started, you know, because he'd gotten jerked and he wasn't seeing his residuals. Michael Jackson heeded that call and he was like, here you go. So that was one example of Michael Jackson showing some form of affinity to his black self. And I also want to point out that before Michael Jackson died, he went to Harlem. Al Sharpton brought him to Harlem. Michael Jackson sought to address Harlem people and his people. He tried to come home. And he said, all these attacks on me came when I started getting all these number ones and breaking the records of Elvis Presley. Mm. And then he started explaining in terms of how many different artists were jerked in the music business, how those deals were structured and how he restructured his deals. And apparently at that time of him doing the business, that's when all the accusations started coming. Mm. So, listen.
You know, they say similar things about Prince too. And Prince is not here either.
And Prince has the same story. He broke away from Warner Brothers, completely reshaped the paradigm of how music is distributed. He saw the power of his franchise and he went independent. And to this day, you can't see any of his stuff on YouTube. So yeah, what are the similarities? Why are these two stalwarts of music and black culture, why are they dead? And why do they have the same story of being?
But see, now you couldn't blame Prince for no shit like molesting kids because we don't know him to be hanging with kids like that. You see what I'm saying? Right. Whereas this dude is known for hanging around little kids. And see, that's what really fucks him up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I want to read what my man read. First of all, my man I'm talking about, his name is Bill Whitfield, okay? he put this out publicly on Facebook. And I don't think he'd mind me bringing him up right now. Matter of fact, we might get Bill up here. But I want to read what he said. Let's see, this is him right here. Okay. That's my man Bill with Mike walking as one of the kids. Okay?
Yeah.
He says, everyone that knows me knows if I believed or knew MJ would harm a child, I would not have worked for him. As his personal security, I would have known if something wasn't cool. And trust me, I would have kicked his ass myself. As I protected him in life, I will protect his honor in death. Hashtag, I got your back, sir. Hey, man, all I could say is, from what I know of my man, Bill, you know, he is an upstanding, credible dude. You know what I mean? I don't think that he would cover for him. Right. I don't think he would have worked for him. Right. Cause he's worked for famous people, and I know, working for Michael Jackson, but listen, this is what he's saying. So, I don't know. So, you know, I got to take with my man, somebody that I really know, you know what I mean? Take what he says and really take this, you know, take that into consideration, man.
That's important.
You know what I mean? That's important. So
because you understand his character, him.
Right.
So that lends credence. Like,
right. But now, hold up. But now I'm still gonna say you can know somebody and still never really know them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of people allow certain people to know as much about them as they'd like.
Of course.
And I feel like, you know, man, there's married couples that they think they really know. Man, you don't really know a motherfucker the way you think you know them. Yeah. Okay? Especially when it's some past shit that might have happened before you even got there, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he could truly feel this way, and maybe something still could have happened. I don't know. But I have to take this right. and weigh it heavily. And I'd like to actually talk to him personally right. to, you know, get a deeper insight into what did he see when he was hanging with these little kids, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, mm-hmm. Did he have opportunities? Do you feel, you know what I mean? Like keep it real. Like, was there times when you just wasn't around and this dude was, you know what I mean? I don't know. But from one disturbing thing to another. So we had the Surviving Neverland documentary. And, I called it Surviving Neverland, but it's called Leaving Neverland. That's because all the other ones are like Surviving R. Kelly, Surviving Compton. Another prediction of mine. Okay, now get ready, y'all. You ready? Because this is coming. You know it's coming. Surviving Bill Cosby. If Lifetime does it, it's going to be called Surviving Bill Cosby.
And cut Jamar's check.
Okay? Yes, cut me my motherfucking check. But see, they already copyrighted a bunch of survivings probably already of a bunch of fucking people. So, you know, we have a surviving Bill Clinton, surviving Harvey Weinstein. I just want to know. But anyway, so R. Kelly did an interview with, what's the sister's name? Huh? Oh, Gayle King. Now, you notice how they always set us up with the black interviewer. Like Jussie got interviewed by, what's her name? from the Today Show or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, the tall one, Robin Roberts. Yes.
Then there's the Soledad, that Soledad lady. She's always the go-to.
Listen, now, you know, yeah, they'll have Don Lemon or somebody.
Yeah.
And now they got Gayle King doing R. Kelly. Okay? So R. Kelly is on there being asked about, you know, the allegations and all of that. And basically he's dipping and dodging, if you ask me. And then he gets to crying. And see, here's what I don't like when people try to answer a question with a question.
What do you mean?
Well, I didn't ask you anything. I made a statement there. But, you know, R. Kelly, did you have sex with underage girls? Listen, is that my camera right there? Listen, how crazy does it sound for me to be locking up girls, not feeding them, and not letting them make phone calls? Like, nigga, that's not what I asked you. I asked you a question. Stop asking me questions about the question. Answer the question.
100%.
You see?
Yeah.
And and that's a way to deflect and answer the question.
Not only that, it is plausible because there are people who do that type of stuff.
First of all, listen, I hate when people say, why would I do something that would harm me? People do it every day.
That's life, yeah.
People do shit that harm them knowingly every day and don't give a fuck. We know all the fucking research on cigarettes and soda and all that type of shit. Look.
Listen, full disclosure, when this is done, I'm a pack of Oreos or something, me.
So, right.
Yeah.
You know what the fuck you supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But you're not, but we do what we do. Okay? So why would you do that? Because that's some shit that you want to fucking do. And you might not have in your mind, you don't have the discipline or whatever the case may be to stop fucking with little girls.
Right.
You know? You were scarred when you were a child or whatever, because you are supposedly a victim of rape. But you don't want to talk about that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're just going to act like you're a freaky dude that likes freaky shit. And okay, well, if that's the case, you're a little too freaky for this fucking society, because you ain't supposed to be doing shit like that with little girls. Now the grown women, what you doing with them? And that's a whole different thing. Okay, here's the thing though, that came across my mind about both of these documentaries. When these so-called victims, I don't care if it's R. Kelly's victims, Michael Jackson's victims, when they start talking about, especially the early part of when they met this person, it's always, they seem like these are fond memories for them. It always seems like, they're smiling. Oh, it was great. He used to send me limousines, and we used to, this one guy was like, oh, he used to get the movies before they came out in the theaters. So we watched Batteries Not Included. And it's just they seem a little too, and even some of the girls, he used to call me, if you're a victim, be mad about the motherfucker through the whole thing, then I kind of feel why are we reminiscing with such melancholy, those were the days, except for the part when he raped me. Right. It was great. But you should be even looking at that part
Yeah.
That was the fucking setup, yo.
Right.
Some bullshit.
Right.
This motherfucker was giving me candy and fucking,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sending my fucking family on trips and shit
That's how I
like
would
that.
do it. That's how I would
You know
say
what I
it,
mean?
yeah.
But y'all is kind of like, you know, homeboy had his leg crossed, all suspect, first of all. And he's just sitting there and he's like, yeah, and you know, it just, that part is disturbing to me too. And that kind of makes me question sometimes the credibility of some of the accusers when you do that. So now accusers, keep that accuser energy. Like, don't be half like, these are half fond memories and half nightmare. Either it was a whole nightmare, you know what I mean? Or it wasn't. I mean, I know there's positive and negative in all things, but I'm just saying the way you reminiscing about it and you're here and trying to tell a story that's trying to say that this person victimized you, I don't think you should be smiling about none of this shit he did. You motherfucker gave you a cookie. Shouldn't be fucking happy about that shit.
There's some conforming though. Like, I've been in situations in the music business where I've seen things that were suspect, but I've also seen people who were on the payroll or who had some political gain to achieve literally turn a blind eye. You know, I mean, come to a situation where they know something's going on and they bust a move like this. Come on. You heard what he just said. You know what dude doing. You know what's going on. All of us riding in the car, looking straight ahead, 12 o'clock all of a sudden. Come on. Come on. You know, but I'm the person, I make myself the martyr. I'm the curmudgeon because I'm the dude like, yo, let me out, man. Let me out.
That's my word. I feel like I'm the dude
saying?
that they kind of, once they took my temperature, because I feel like they take your temperature somehow when you're not even realizing it, though.
100%.
They taking your temperature.
I know how they do it, yes. See how much you can withstand.
With some shit?
Would you tell?
Yo, they saw it. Man, said, yo, this nigga Jamar really believes this.
Right, exactly.
He really believes this shit. We can't don't do nothing around him.
Don't do nothing
around him, because I'm telling you, I didn't see a lot of foul shit. Like, I would hear shit about people and all that, but I swear, I feel like a lot of these motherfuckers knew. Yo, don't bring that shit around. Don't bring that shit around the guard, or you gonna get bleamed on. You gonna get bleamed on. You gonna turn it into social media before there was social media. I let motherfuckers know, like, yo, I seen that motherfucker do some crazy shit, y'all. You wanna hear about it? But yeah, that's just something that came up in, as I'm watching both things, that was a little thread that I saw that kind of ran through the both of them. Like, stop reminiscing with fondness. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to hear that from you.
See, celebrities intoxicating,
as a victim,
man.
Huh?
They're celebrities intoxicating. Even though these people are quote unquote victims, they're still getting a rise out of being celebrities.
Yes.
And that speaks to the sickness of our society.
Yes.
She
and
was
this
a
is
thing.
my bigger thing, like money, fame. Like, if this was a broke bum,
right,
we wouldn't be having these discussions. You wouldn't even wait for any kind of allegations.
Right.
Like, if dirty, you know, if dirty Lester, you know, the homeless man up the street, invited the 7-year-old boy, you know, from up the block to sleep in his sleeping bag, you know, the whole fucking neighborhood would probably kill him. Mike would kill him. Literally. Mm-hmm. At the very least, they're calling the police on him and trying to make sure that this motherfucker's out of here. Yeah. Why? Because he ain't got no money? Because he smells bad? Because you step over him every day? But these motherfuckers is hopping out of same mentality as Lester on homeless Lester, but they got Rolls Royces and fucking Cubans and
money, man.
You know what I mean? And homes that are, you know what I mean?
Prestige and money.
Bathrooms big as this room. Like, come on, bro. This shit is,
Yeah.
to where it can put a spell. It's a spell.
It is.
It's a magical spell.
It is a magical. I've seen some magical.
Well, they talk about Hollywood. Hollywood is supposed to be the kind of wood that they made.
Holy wood.
Not just Hollywood. Hollywood is, there's a Hollywood, and that's what they made magic wands
Yeah,
out of.
out of holy wood.
Mm-hmm. Because they cast in a spell on you with money and the illusion of fame. This shit is fucking crazy.
Right.
This is one of my main themes, actually. Like when you watch most of my videos on Vlad and all of that, this is one of the main themes. Why do we allow money to like change the rules of common sense and morality?
Yeah.
I think y'all need to sit with that question for a second as we go to break. We'll be back. All right, now where's my fucking food? Hey. Welcome back to Yanadameen Godcast of Lord Jamar. A fact checker rage, not fact checker. Fact checker.
FACT.
Digga is still on hiatus over in Europe, we'll just say. I don't know all the countries she's in. I know Germany, I think England, I think France, some shit like
Austria and Switzerland.
Austria and Switzerland? Okay. Well, yeah, she's doing all of that Guten Tag, fucking wooden shoe shit over there. We miss her, and, she'll be back next episode, though. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger next episode if I can make it happen. We're going to... let's just say we're going to attack the globetards out this motherfucker. We're going to attack the globetards, okay? Because once you go flat, you never globe back. But anyway, if you'd like to donate to the show, and trust me, we're striving to keep this thing independent. We doing for self. Oh, I know you love that that episode on renewable energy and all of that, because that's that do for self mentality we on around here. Well, in order to do for self, we need to fund ourselves. So go to cash.me/$Yanadameen, patreon.com/Yanadameen, or Yanadameen.com/support. We got a lot of subscribers, a lot of viewers. $1 a piece would be nice. That'll get us pretty far. We appreciate you. So we left off with the question of why is money and fame and all that allowed, people to just bump their heads and forget a lot of things and forget their morals and shit like that. You know what I mean? There's like in business, when we do business, there's what's contractual and then there's what's morally right. And the two don't always come together.
Right. They say you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate.
That's deep. Well, speaking of that, just recently, De La Soul did an interview with, what was it, Sway? I think they did. What? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was Sway in the morning.
Have to be shout out.
And shout out to my man Sway. And first of all, shout out to De La Soul.
Big shout out to De La Soul. VA Mace, PA Mace was good.
Yeah, last time I was with them, we had a show. We were in Japan, and this was a few months back.
Yeah, I grew up with Mace, the DJ.
Big show. That's what's up. Big show in Japan was dope. De La Soul has a great stage show.
Incredible stage show.
Didn't start that way though, and they'll tell you that.
They
actually
from
started
NWA.
very weak as a stage show, and they worked on that shit, and now they have one of the best stage shows out there. Yeah. But anyway, so they did a interview with Sway, and they revealed that, first of all, they revealed that they've never really received royalties, that all their money has come from touring and merchandise, because apparently their first album, maybe their first few albums, was so sample heavy, and especially that first 3 Feet High and Rising was so sample heavy, and nothing was cleared at the time. That's once it blew up, there were so many lawsuits and so much litigation that they basically saw nothing as far as royalties were concerned from that album.
Well, it's interesting to point out that whole time frame, like Hank Shockley says, it was a different dynamic when we were doing the sampling, but it was 2 albums that really broke the mold in terms of layering samples in that way. At that point in time, it was 3 Feet High and Rising, and It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back.
Correct.
So the industry wasn't prepared for that amount of samples. And lastly, even though 3 Feet High and Rising was so sample layered, it was actually the lawsuit from the group The Turtles that kind of brought them into the public sphere of that kind of litigation. And it wasn't even a song that they had sampled for, it was a skit. And the skit was called Broadcasting from Mars, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, EPD, EPD.
Okay.
And that was it, that like led the charge, you know? Yep.
And that's crazy. Like, you're trying to be all artistic. And first of all, that was, at the time, that was one of the most artistic hip hop albums ever created. Like, from everything about it was just so dope, and like, it was just a new spin on hip hop almost. Like, and yeah, they opened up a lot of doors for a lot of people. That being said, you know, they got in there and they said, hey, contracts were shitty back then. You know what I mean?
As they were.
And they still shitty now.
Right.
Like, they still shitty now. It's not that there's all great contracts out there. If somebody's powerful enough and has reached a certain point where they're able to get their masters back or something like that, they get that. But most people, you know, if you want to be an artist, it's almost like a willing contract with the devil. You know what I mean? Like you know what you're getting into in a way. You know that somehow, in some way, these people is going to get more than me, but it seems like they should, especially back in our day, because they were funding a lot of this shit. You know what I mean? They were putting up all the money, and so they were assuming a lot of the financial risk. And I think in our minds, we felt like, and when I say we, I mean just all artists, not just Brand Nubian, not just De La Soul. Anybody that signed a fucking record contract with a major label, or even some independent labels. Because Tommy Boy was not a major label. Tommy Boy is an independent label, still is. When you sign these contracts, we knew, okay, we don't have the money to do this. They're gonna put up the money, and as kids from the street, listen, we ready to do whatever we gotta do to fucking get ourselves out there, and you know what I mean? And make our dreams come true. Yeah. You know? And I think a lot of us have done that willingly. And now today, when we live in the time of the 360 deal, where the shit is even worse, like at least we had it where maybe they jerked us, you know, in that little realm of record sales, you know, especially your first early albums, but I can use this as a stepping stone to now create, you know, merchandise for myself. And, you know, I go on tour and, you know what I mean? I can create, what saved them is that they were able to tour. Imagine they was in a 360 deal.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
You know, though, Jay, if I have to, because obviously we both share similar background in terms of the launching and when we got into this biz.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, Jay, we weren't even thinking like that back then. We were so immersed in the culture, like, yo, I'm gonna go loop this beat.
Right.
I'm gonna spit this rhyme. I'm gonna get on the mic at SOBs.
Right,
I'm
we're
gonna
go
go
digging. We're gonna fucking, like,
We
go to
wasn't even
Calliope, all of that shit. Yes.
Yeah.
But, and hindsight is 2020. I love how people can just look back and be like, oh, y'all were so stupid. You should have, you know.
No.
We were, listen, even us at that time, I'm sure we were looking back at the blues artists and oh, they were getting robbed, because it's all relative. It's
100%. It's the same story.
It's different
Same
degrees
story.
to anything.
Yeah.
So we were looking at like, damn, they didn't get hardly anything. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
cars,
and so now when we came up, we got a little more, but we weren't getting like how these motherfuckers is getting now today.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And still, this room where these guys are not opening their masters, but
Right.
they're getting so much money
Right.
that it seems like these motherfuckers are mega rich. And
I have a question to pose to you. So let's look at this. For some reason, I'm almost saying like the whole New York smorgasbord of like artists are to blame. Because why is it that the South came and just flipped that whole paradigm? Look at what Suave House did. Look at what Jay Prince did in Texas. Look at what Master P did. It's like we had an arrogance in New York. Like, yeah, we from New York, we the shit. We the ones that make it. But the South came in and did business.
because they had to.
Facts.
You see, because we took advantage of the fact that all the record companies were here.
Whoa.
We could get on the train and go
down,
stand in front of
sleeping bag,
such
or
and such record
profile.
company with your
Right.
fucking tape and hound these motherfuckers. And these niggas is mailing their shit in. It's different.
Right.
Or I might see these dudes in the party, blah, 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 blah. You see? So I could reach out and touch these motherfuckers. It's like down there, they had to create their own record companies and all that because, first of all, the expense of coming up to New York,
We
all
wasn't
the way
trying
up
to
to
hear
New York.
Right.
And ain't nobody trying to hear that type of hip hop back then. So they had to create their own sound, their own
Infrastructure.
where
Necessities,
the
the
where the
mother
back
of
of
all
the you know
invention.
the back of the trunk was the shit. Now
Too short. Okay.
now New York, we was doing that like mixtape dudes was doing that. You see, that was our version of like independent.
Independence,
And that's where people like French Montana came out of, though, because when you had the DVDs and shit like that. See, you went from the mixtapes to the DVDs, and once you started, now you could sell the DVDs for a little more now than a fucking just the audio. This is audio and visual, so a few people made a pretty penny off them selling them DVDs, and French was one of them. So yeah, it's like we were like, you know, we were the little kids that had, you know, parents to go to. The parent company, you see? When they talk about the parent company, we had the parent companies to go straight to the parent company to treat us like children.
You know, some of my most amazing memories of being around Brand New at that time is I used to see the juxtaposition between what we were doing in the street, in the studio, and when I would have to go to 75 Rockefeller Plaza to do business and go in these buildings. And the people we had to interface with to get the check to go on the road or definitely were from our culture. Some of them had orientations. It was like, I got to see him to get this check? Can you just put it under the door, man? Like, I'm not going in there. Like, you know, the whole corporate clash from what we were doing was just amazing. And one of my most fondest memories is being downstairs at Chung King with Busta Rhymes and Tribe and them when they had just got finished recording Scenario upstairs. And they're downstairs with a boombox playing the reference tape. And I'm like, wow. we wasn't thinking money. It just was, yo, did you hear what we did, God? Yo, you hear this? You know what I mean? Damn.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We was thinking money as far as, niggas wanted to do shows.
We knew
and all
money
that
was gonna come, but we didn't
money.
know the tangibles.
Right, we wasn't.
How it comes.
Yeah, nobody was thinking about,
where the revenues, where actually
401ks and shit like that. Like motherfuckers was just,
sync
we
licenses.
was happy to be fresh. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like,
what I'm saying.
We was happy to be fresh.
Fresh
kicks, fresh, you know what I mean? Like, just be fresh. Like, but at some point, that's not good enough, And when you're not getting the real part of the pie. So, we don't usually talk about other people's shows and shit on here, but I saw a clip of Joe Buttons speaking on this whole De La Soul shit. And this shit, like, brought him to tears. Like, he's talking about how he sees some of the legends and that the legends be looking bad.
They do, 100%.
Okay? And he said that De La Soul was looking kind of bad.
They're not looking bad.
I mean, I didn't think they was looking that bad, but according to him, they looking bad.
They do all right for themselves, but I think their thing is just more, it's a question of integrity. Like, yo, this is our work, this is our body of work, and we deserve, a proper share. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just right now thinking about this whole, what he's saying though, like what do we do there's nothing in place to like any kind of safety net for our legends. You know what I mean? Like, think of some of the people that started this hip hop shit.
Oh, come on.
We got legendary people that started this that want to come up here right now.
100%.
And I mean, I know that hip hop has not supported them.
Let me say this.
Hip hop has not supported them.
This obviously goes into my direction, about.
Yeah, because I just got somebody was hitting me up about the Crash Crew.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, somebody just hit me about that too.
See? Mm-hmm. But in particular, we're about to do my show, Hip Hop and Forensics Approach, coming on the Yanadameen Network. Mm-hmm. Executive produced by Lord Jamar.
As soon as he gets all his other duties in a row.
Mm-hmm. No, but like this really falls into my wheelhouse. What's happening right now is this. The state of the culture is that young people always gravitate towards what's sexy and what's relevant. So whatever's sexy and relevant is what's going to be in the car radios and coming through the streaming platforms at this moment, i.e. your 2 Chainz, your Meek Mills, or whatever. The other part is that from an anthropological point of view, hip hop as a culture now has to be considered a global phenomenon, and it needs to be taught. So, you got hip hop, i.e. whatever, or Hot 97, whatever, then you got hip hop Wikipedia. So the people who started it now have a story to tell the world because hip hop is still around and it's still blowing up like crazy. So everybody wants to know who did what, who started what. So now they're starting to get their flowers. The point is that we need to tap into that point of revenue and obviously tap into that control of the narrative.
But are they really getting their flowers? Like, I be seeing my man, shout out Kool Herc.
Oh, that's a tragedy. Yeah.
I be seeing Kool Herc out here, and he's still like DJing in spots up in Mount Vernon in the Bronx and shit like that. Like, and this man has got to be a grandfather for real. Like, why? Why are we letting them even do that? Like, why is one of these, you know what I mean? Millionaire rappers who stepped on this man's shoulders and all of that. We can't give this man a no-show job or something like that. You see what I'm saying? I can't take off one of these, $200,000 chains and just cash that in. And here you go, bro. Something like something. I be hearing dudes be doing stuff for other rappers, but it seems like they'll do it for rappers that got money. You know what I mean?
For the accolades, for the fanfare, right?
Like I heard
the
Jay-Z
integrity.
paid like Lil Wayne's taxes when he was going through all his shit. See what I'm saying? Like, that's a great gesture right there. And he didn't want nobody to say nothing about it. But at the same time, Lil Wayne is a fucking millionaire. You know what I mean?
It's an anomaly.
I'm sure,
man. It's an anomaly.
you know, Grand Mixer DST or some shit would love for somebody to pay his taxes.
You know,
or you know what I'm saying?
I had a conversation with
The
DST.
Force MCs, the Force MDs is out here. I'm sure they could use some help out here. My man Grandmaster Cash, Cold Crush. Come on, man. The list goes on and on.
I had a conversation with DXT one time, and he was just telling me how it's crazy that they fly in DJs from Europe to do like New Year's parties and pay them like $600,000.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like astronomical money. Here's this guy is the first person to coin the term turntablism, first DJ to win a Grammy for his work with Herbie Hancock. And like, y'all, promoters want to haggle with him? Like,
Right.
it's embarrassing. Be like, you're right. As a people, we got to do better, man. We've got to do better. We got to give our heroes their flowers when they're still around.
And we
On
need
it
to
like
set
that,
up
man.
safety net. There needs to be a union,
100%.
something where, you know what I mean? Because there ain't no, you don't get no medical and dental and all this type of shit when you sign up for this hip hop shit. But the motherfuckers at the record company do.
Right.
The motherfuckers at the record company get all of that. 401k and all, but not the artists. You know what I mean? That's some shit right there.
Yeah.
So then, and so it was said, how much time we got? So it was said that, you know, De La Soul is only going to be getting like 10%
Right. So, yeah.
of their streaming revenue. First of all, I got to say, Brand Nubian just did a deal with Tommy Boy not too long ago. But I know we ain't getting no damn 10% of the streaming revenue. See, I think they're still locked in from their original fucked up contract.
I can tell you what it's based on. I've been following it closely.
Mm-hmm.
And again, shout out Dave, shout out Mace. You know what I mean?
Paz, Mace,
You know what I'm saying?
all of y'all.
What's happening last time I checked is I think Tommy Boy was offering him 10%, something like that. So they went away from that from that offer. Next is after the pressure came on Tommy Boy, they said, okay, we'll negotiate, but they want him to sound like an NDA. Like, don't tell anybody what we're doing. But De La Soul is being smart to say, no, we're going to use the public, and this is
Right.
going to be done in the court of public opinion to get you to act right. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Also, in support of their plight, Tidal has said they're not going to stream the catalog. So, thank God, man. And then again, you know, your man Joe Budden doing what he did. We're coming of age, man, and we're
But
beginning
now,
to,
you thank God then you say they're not going to stream it so that, you know, Tommy Boy can't exploit the situation. But, you know, as, you know, for a music lover and all that, there's some musical gems out there that are not available to the people now. You see what I'm saying? Like, how does a new kid discover 3 Feet High and Rising? That might be just the album they needed to hear and to unlock their fucking musical shit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now that's not available to the people because of some fuck shit. You know?
it's a trade-off, man.
That's that bullshit.
Yeah.
Listen, if you like what we're doing, subscribe, like, comment, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Yanadameen Godcast. We'll be back. Welcome back to Yanadameen Godcast. I'm Lord Jamar.
Fact checker rage.
Digga is still on hiatus over in Europe doing her 1-2 thing, getting those euros. But she will be back next episode. Thank goodness. No more residual booty heat for you. No more residual booty heat. But listen, We appreciate y'all joining us. We encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, and most of all, to donate to the show so that we can keep this thing independent and be able to bring you the kind of content that we like to bring the way we like to bring it. That being said, go to cash.me/$Yanadameen, patreon.com/Yanadameen, or yanadameen.com/support. We appreciate every dollar given towards the show. Thank you. We love you. So, Rage.
Yes, buddy.
So you have been hounding me.
Hound. Let's get it.
You've been hounding me to
Yeah.
have a hip hop discussion. Now, this is a hip hop talk show. And we don't always talk about, current events in hip hop. We just talk about hip hop itself. Hip hop is the topic. So you're hounding me right now.
Right now, actively
First of
hounding.
all, is that a fucking Gucci shirt you got on?
Emphatically non-cypher guard, this is not Gucci.
What the fuck?
It's definitely not Gucci, man.
That
Against
looked like the
colors.
Gucci colors.
It sure does. It's not Gucci. Never fucking Gucci, really.
Okay. I'm just saying. Don't play that shit.
No, sir.
But this is Polo. I'm not gonna lie. This is Polo. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So you said you want to talk about certain watershed moments in hip hop.
Certainly.
I'm down to play this little game with you for about 20 minutes or so. We can go towards the beginning of hip hop because there's certain things, the way I was introduced to hip hop, I was introduced to that raw hip hop. You see, like that tape, the hip hop that was like on tape from the Fever and the T Connection and Harlem World and
Rooftop.
Bronx River and shit. Like, nah, not a Rooftop. I was at the Rooftop by then.
Right.
Talking about before, the shit that I was too young to go to when I was just hearing the tapes. So, yeah. But then hip hop got on wax.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, once it got on wax, we were happy that it was there, but it didn't sound like that same hip hop from the tape.
100%.
It wasn't as raw, and I don't know. Let's just start where you want to start, and I'm gonna interject what the shit I want to interject.
Well, the back of what you're saying, if I were to take a cue from the hip hop sound losing its rawness once it was interpreted on vinyl, we can go to Sugar Hill's catalog.
That's what I'm immediately thinking of.
And I definitely concur.
They mangled those break beats to me.
Because it was like you had a tape, a flash.
I was like, is white people playing this?
Yo,
the fuck
for
is this?
real. It was like you had tapes of Flash and all that grit with Melly Mel and them tearing up the mic and Flash cutting. But then you'd hear the record and you hear like Freedom and it's like, Flash, one time. Like, that's not a scratch. Where's the scratching? They had like horn hit. Like, I was like, yo, where's the scratching?
Yes, where's the scratch?
There was no scratching on those original Sugar Hill records. So I was like, that's the first problem I'm having. Where are the cuts? They would like have like a horn stab or something like
But
that.
now, hold up. Wasn't Super Rapping, wasn't that on Enjoy?
I believe so.
And see, that one, although that was a remake, like that one did sound kind of raw. And we ended up using like the that ended up being a break beat in itself in a way. That shit had a little more rawness to it, the way it was recorded, and it wasn't all shiny the way that Sugar Hill shit used to be sounding like.
Absolutely.
So the Sugar Hill Gang's music, Flash and the Furious 5, even some of the Treacherous 3 joints.
Right.
Like if you think about when they was on, I think they were on Enjoy too.
They were also Enjoy.
Enjoy, now that I think about it, for those that don't know, Enjoy was an independent record label back in the days. you know, one of the first hip hop labels. You had Sugar Hill, you had Enjoy back then. What else was out? Damn, I feel like Sleeping Bag came later.
Oh, that was during the
Sleeping Bag and
80s,
Tommy Boy and all that came a little later. But at this point,
just Enjoy.
You know,
Fever.
You had the dudes that did the Super Disco breaks. Yeah, the Disco Fever records,
Disco
right?
Fever, absolutely. Super Disco. Shout out Breakbeat Lou. I just spoke to Breakbeat Lou. Trying to get you on the show, girl.
Oh, let's get Breakbeat Lou on here.
Please.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, because I saw Breakbeat Lou on Instagram.
Right.
And so I'm like, and he said that he put out, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this the dude that put out the Super Disco breaks?
Yeah,
like,
I think that was my post because he got at us. I was speaking to him.
I'm telling you right now, I want Breakbeat Lou on the fucking show. Absolutely. Hit us up. We're gonna get you on here because those were like for a DJ. Cause you didn't know, first of all, where to even get a lot of these records at.
Absolutely.
Okay? Like, you know, Flash and these niggas used to like cover up the records, put magic marker and shit and tape on the record. So they'll pull out a record and they know what it is, but you don't know what the fuck it is. You trying to look over their shoulder and they put magic marker over the shit or a piece of fucking tape.
And what was so crazy is that when they would mess up their copies and then need to re-up, you would see a Grandmaster Flash at Music Factory. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Getting 2 copies.
Or what's the shit that was right in? Is that what in Times Square?
Absolutely. Music Factory.
Music Factory.
That's where everybody went. That's
where I first went to get my shit. And I'm talking, but I had to come from all the way in Westchester.
Absolutely. I
had to get on a bus to take me to the fucking last stop on the 2 train and then take the train all the way down.
Right. I think we should tell people what a breakbeat is, though, if you don't mind. Let me.
Well, go ahead. Tell them what a breakbeat is.
Again, this is the hip hop forensics. You know what I mean? A breakbeat.
Yeah, this is your camera, Rage.
This is my camera. A breakbeat comprises of certain funk records or even jazz or pop songs. Most of the time, they were kind of like one-hit wonders, and they didn't really have that much commercial appeal. But they featured a segment in the record for like 4 to 8 bars or so, where the song was just stripped down to its most basic element.
So the roars.
The roars.
Fall, and usually it's just the drums.
Usually just the drums. Maybe a guitar lick, right? Like a horn stab.
But they're different, like it'll start with like an instrument like a wow.
On the one, like a James Brown, right? Just go somewhere.
Wow. You know what I mean? So it's like.
Right. So once, the original diggers, shout out Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flowers, Grand Wizard Theater, all of them. Once they had discovered these segments, they would buy dual copies of the records.
To extend it.
And then repeat it on the turntables 1 and 2. And eventually, the art of sampling would mimic that feature of going from 1 and 2.
Right, but real hip hop, it's like we discovered that for us, hip hop was the break of a song. So everything else outside of the break was kind of whack.
Exactly.
Like it was like, get that shit out of here.
Right.
I only want this little piece right here. And so since that piece was so dope, but it was so short, the fact that, because we used to extend them with pause button tapes and all that type of shit back in the days.
Anything we could.
The fact that the DJ could live on the spot make that shit extend for a long time was dope. And then the fact that now people just started saying little shit over it because you couldn't help it. Yes, y'all.
And where did that come from?
I don't know where that came from.
Can I speak on that?
Go ahead, build on it.
All right. So again, shout out to Kool Herc. So the process of
you're looking at this camera, Rage. Get your shit together, Rage.
Yes, sir. Again, the process they used to call toasting evolved from Jamaica, when the DJs at a dance hall would shout out the different crews and popular people at a party over a particular record. So, for instance, like, yo, my youth, big up so-and-so and so. They started calling out names and calling out crews. When Kool Herc transplanted...
Well, why they call it toasting?
Well, like, you toast an event. Like, we like to commemorate the wedding.
Toasting is when you hold up your drink. I propose a toast.
Correct. There it is. So, right. So they were toasting the celebrity of the people were at the party,
Okay.
or the occasion.
You probably didn't even really think about that.
No, actually, I did. I've been on it. I'm the forensics guy.
I'm a forensics guy too. Let's go.
Yes, you are. Right. So once Kool Herc transplanted that, obviously the Jamaican patois wasn't necessarily as preeminent in the Bronx. So what went from my youth, big up, or whatever they were saying, that turned into yes, y'all.
No, that doesn't feel right.
I'm skipping something.
I am somebody that studies etymology. Okay, and that we're not just gonna go from big up my youth to yes, y'all. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so it had to be something else that caused the yes, y'all, to the beach, y'all, rock, y'all. You don't stop, because that's really what the whole thing is right there. Like,
right. But again, it's toasting you. It's call and response. The crowd, yes, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
In a general sense, I'm just saying the saying. You said, where did yes, y'all come from?
I didn't mean yes,
that's
y'all.
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? So if we're talking about yes, y'all,
right.
You're not just going to tell me that we went from big up my youth to yes, y'all. Right. That doesn't make, etymological sense. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. It should, if you told me they were saying, a test call. You see?
Oh, yeah.
You see?
That's what you're saying.
And then over here,
it went to yes, y'all.
It turned to yes, y'all. I would buy that.
I didn't mean it literal. I just meant, the call and response.
I understand the call and response, yes, but I thought you was really getting into the, I thought we was picking this body apart.
No, that's for my show. Hip Hop and Forensics Approach coming to Yanadameen Network.
So let's move ahead. So what I'm saying is these break beats, right? And even when you'd hear the instruments, it just the shit was just so much more funkier, and just the records were like, it had the pop and the crackle and all of that. Yeah. And then you're getting a tape that's probably been dubbed at least 100 times already. So your shit has a lot of air, but it just added to the ambiance of the whole thing.
It was
so now when you hear these records from Sugar Hill and all that, it's a little disappointing. So I gotta say, for me, the first record that I felt like, yes, like y'all did kind of what I want, was Sucker MC from Run DMC. Because they actually fell victim on the A side with the
It's Like That.
Yeah, It's Like That. That was a whole, Planet Rock started that style. That style
electronic
of
drum programming,
drum programming, and just the way that sounded and rhymed. Money is the key to end all your woes. Like that, to us, that wasn't real, like
rhyming.
That was, but we understood. To me, I felt like, all right, these dudes are trying to get their bread. They're trying to actually appeal to a bigger audience. I get it. I'm gonna give these niggas a pass.
Right.
And hip hop was so valuable to us at the time, and this is what I need to say, that there was a lot of shit that we was gonna let slide because you couldn't be so picky about it.
Because it was so limited.
It was so limited that
that's so deep. Yeah.
I'm happy.
You just happy like, yo.
Yes, I'm not happy that they're playing this shit. Doesn't sound as good as that shit on tape, but I'm happy that they are playing that though.
Absolutely.
You see, like they're trying to recreate this break beat that I love so much.
Right.
And they're cool enough to know about that break beat.
And let me please.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me touch on that.
So it was conflicting. And it only wasn't until Sucker MC when they just took out all the music and it was just the drums and they were recreating a breakbeat action.
Yes, they were. Now that's what I want to touch on.
What was the name of the group?
Orange Crush.
Orange Crush.
Right.
But that one
it was Crush Groove number one was action.
I was like, nah, this is some, and he's really rhyming, and Orange Crush became amazed at me, and Larry put me inside.
Larry, that's what I want to touch on.
Chauffeur drove off, and we never count me. Yeah. Come on, Larry Smith.
Yeah, so Larry Smith was one of the first. He was responsible for what they call the big beat sound.
And some of the greatest
hip hop ever.
Classics.
Rest in peace, Larry Smith.
Early hip hop.
Let's get it in. I can't wait to give
Friends.
you my flowers.
He did a bunch of Houdini
work,
Yep.
Run DMC's, all that stuff. What he apparently
Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys. What I understand is, I think it was on his trip to Europe, he had found a lot of different technology and came across the Oppenheimer drum machine. And he used those different drum machines to create some of those breaks that we love so much. You know what I mean? So again, Sucker MCs is the song Action by Orange Crush, just programmed into that drum machine.
But without any bass lines and all that, just the drums.
And again, you know,
and then he put that clap, see,
oh man.
By doing that, that gave the beat personality of its own.
Absolutely.
Like, that just stood out so crazy that, yo.
It was ridiculous, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely Sucker MCs. You know, the flip side was It's Like That. And yeah, the big beat sound. Oh, I wanted to say the interesting thing about, again,
the A side was It's Like That.
It's Like
Sucker
That.
MCs was the B side.
The B side wins again. Shout out Chuck D. But again, what made hip hop so infectious was, you know, they say nature's way is to simplify. And when you have a song with all this different instrumentation and arrangement, the most simplistic part of that song would be considered the break. You know what I'm saying? So again, going back
sometimes
to Africa,
less is more.
Less is more. So hip hop, man, is the drum, which goes back to Africa. You know what I mean? The rhythm. So that's why.
Well, which goes back to original people.
Right.
You see, because the native people here in this country are known for using the drums. Yeah. The Aboriginal in Australia is known for using the drum. Like, we original people of the planet Earth.
Them dudes with the arrows probably had drums too.
Use the drum. Oh, you know they got drums. The ones that fucked up my man, the missionary dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know they was drumming right after they fucking arrowed his ass up.
Right.
They probably used a couple arrows as drumsticks. Yeah, use his skin as a motherfucking drum skin. Tighten this motherfucker up. So, I mean,
so let's talk radio now. Now let's talk. Okay, we identified records. Now hip hop on the radio. You know where I'm going with this.
Hip hop on the radio. I mean, that was very rare too. You see what I'm saying? So I came up with Mr. Magic and the Supreme Team on WHBI. Well, it was kind of the same time,
You're right.
It was around the same time, yeah. Right. Even Africa Islam had a radio show at that time.
Yes.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, the Awesome 2.
Absolutely. Awesome 2.
Had a fucking radio show shortly thereafter.
Absolutely.
And these are all independent, like college radios. And, it wasn't mainstream, and they'd come on like on a Tuesday at like 1 o'clock
in the morning. You're supposed to be asleep. You can't get the station.
Yeah, I'm a little kid, and where I lived at, like, HBI would only come in my kitchen,
right,
by the window with the antenna just touching the metal of the screen. And without that, it's not gonna work nowhere else. So I had to
you put in the time.
And so I had this. There used to be this freezer, like a whatchamacallit freezer. Like a. Not the refrigerator, but then a freezer, like a deep freezer. Yeah, right. There was a deep freezer over there by the window. So I'm sitting on a deep freezer waiting for the shit to come on. Got my tape deck ready. You know what I mean? Because some shit, you going to catch some shit.
For real.
And you might catch, some routines, all kinds of shit they used to play on there.
Word up, man.
But the crushing thing is when you fall asleep. At 12:50.
Then your man tell you the next day.
12:51.
They was cutting. 415 was up there and stuff. He's like, oh man. But somebody might have had to take.
Or I used to always also be one of the little motherfuckers that I'm calling up there trying to get my shout out.
Wow.
I'm talking whatever the number was.
Yes, man.
And back then, it wasn't busy. Okay. It's ringing. oh shit. And sometimes they might pick it up and just hang it right back. Fuck! Hello, WHBI Supreme Team. Oh shit! This is KD from Nurshell. That was my name at that time. This is KD from Nurshell, and I just want to shout out whoever the fuck, Jawel, no, We Rock, and Debonair, and Savoir Faire. All right. Boom. And now you really waiting and shit. Now you really waiting. Cause when they fucking say your name.
Oh my God. Word.
I did all of that, bro. Man. I did all of that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I did all of that.
You definitely got to touch, when we touched on WHBI and the world famous Supreme Team. Again,
shout out to my man C Divine.
Yo.
Peace to the God. I had the pleasure of actually, you know what I mean, meeting him, building with him. He came to my rest before.
That's dope.
Oh, man.
What's interesting is, again, and you and I discussed about the 5% doctrine and what hip-hop did to propel it. And also, I believe that hip-hop owes the 5% doctrine for a lot of its mantras, a lot of its, ways.
Absolutely.
For sure. But, I was introduced to that stuff, didn't know what it was, by the Supreme Team. Like, what are they saying? They used to do the...
yes.
They used to sing the
Enlightener.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, I remember, when they were doing their thing, they would have all these different codes about how to behave and how to act. So I was getting different levels of maturity, you know what I'm saying, and culture.
When I got knowledge, I started reading. I said, wait a minute. I know this from the Supreme Team songs.
Yeah.
Like
peace to
the knowledge is the foundation. The wisdom is the way. The understanding show you. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's what they were saying. And I was like, wow. And I was in that. And at that moment, that's what unlocked some shit in me. Right. I said, these motherfuckers taught me without me knowing I'm being taught. Bang, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
Absolutely. And then, obviously they got up with Malcolm McLaren from the UK and they made Buffalo Gals, which is the first record I ever bought. I didn't even know what was on the record. All I know is on the 12-inch, it had a picture of 2 turntables in the mixer. I said, I'll have that. Took it home and I think they was like one of the few. I think the Crash Crew might have given a little, but I think they were the first one to be like, no, this is what it is.
See, I'm fortunate enough, like, even though I grew up in Nurshell, which is in Westchester, we was like, a stone's throw from the Boogie Woogie. You know what I mean? So we had a record store in Nurshell, and I don't know why this dude, how he was new, because this was a white dude that owned the shit, but it was called Paul's Record Hut.
I remember that.
And Paul's Record Hut had a hip hop section early. I mean, early in the game, where you could get a couple, Rocket in the Pocket, Super Disco breaks they had in there. They had Treacherous 3, you know what I mean? Like them Sugar Hill records, they was up on their shit. Shout out to Paul's Record Hut. That shit has been gone for years, but all y'all motherfuckers from Nurshell, y'all remember that shit. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Y'all gonna be like, hells yeah, I remember Paul's Record Hut. Talk about that shit in the comments. But I was just fortunate enough to be able to go in there as a kid, before I was able to even get on the train and all that and go down to Music Factory and all that type of shit. I just go walk right up to Paul's Record Hut and, just window shopping records, because I can't buy all the records. I gotta choose now too. Which is gonna be that one? Because I can only get one. You know what I mean? Damn, this nigga Curtis Blow, he look cool as a motherfucker on this cover. I might have to get this Curtis Blow one right here. And this shit, yeah, man, that's how the shit was working, man.
I used to go to Music Factory just to see the rappers, because we talking about like platforms to be heard or to promote. At one point, it was your vinyl. So you had to go to Music Factory and you go there and you'd run into a Kool Keith, a Salt and Pepper, a Just Ice, a KRS-One, a De La Soul. Literally just musing around the store to see who was picking up their 12-inch, man, or they were signed to 8.5 by 11 glossy.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit down the road. Yeah. Well, listen, this is a nice little teaser that we
for
gave.
the hip hop forensics approach. Yes, sir.
With Fact Checker Rage.
Absolutely.
The motherfucking, that's why he was trying to like give a theme. So he put on his scrubs one day.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers like, what, Rage just came from work and shit? What the fuck is up with the nurse's outfit he had on? He's a fucking, he's the Quincy MD, ME of this motherfucker, right?
Sir.
Remember Quincy?
Yeah.
Jack Klugman? That was the motherfucking show. Well, listen, subscribe, okay? Like, donate, go fucking cash.me /$, you know what I mean? Patreon.com /you know what I mean, or yanadameen.com/support. Hit us up in the comments, hit us with topics, all kind of shit that you want to talk about. And don't worry, Digga will be back next week. 20-second honey bun in the microwave. We'll be back. You get all, the thigh, everything that you like, and but we might be going in next week hard. And I don't say all that pause shit because that's some other shit. But yeah, we might be going in hard next week. So with that, I'm Lord Jamar.
On Fact Checker Rage.
Peace.
1, 2, and you don't stop. And you say New York City.
Ha ha.
Brooklyn's historic The Black Lady Theater is now taking bookings. Host your next birthday party, concert, networking event, baby or bridal shower, wedding, art show, gala, corporate event, live stage play, audition, and so much more. At the one and only The Black Lady Theater. Mention code GODCAST for 15% off your rental fee. Code good for the first-time customers only. Valid for a limited time. Call 718-771-0900 to book your event today.